My foot on the gas like I'm tryna bust out the bottom. Watch I slide, a nigga get off like a potter. Catch me if you can, I'm a bad man. Live a double life like I'm Batman. My foot on the gas.
What is up, everyone? It's your boy Mike from Balls of Fury. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're covering part 4 of ball python care, and we are going to get into shedding. Okay guys, so shedding is a process that your snake is basically going to go through its whole entire life. The whole time you have your ball python, they will go through shed cycles, and they go through sheds for one of two reasons. One reason is growth, and the other is for healing. If the snake gets injured, it will go into a shed cycle. And the first early signs of shed, as you can see right here, are those blue cloudy eyes. Look at how dull this guy is as well in color. And it's a little bit tough to tell with pieds because they are all white. But man, look at those eyes. If you guys can see that right there, super deep in shed. And this guy is actually growing. Another sign too that your snake is going into shed is sometimes their belly will actually be pink. You can't really see it here, but a lot of times with white snakes and snakes that have white bellies, they will actually turn pink. They'll get this bluish sheen to them. As you can see with his eyes right here, he is deep in shed. And this is something that this guy will go through his whole life. This guy is a 3-year-old male. He is shedding awesome. That means he's growing. So it's an exciting time when your snake goes into shed. Now, I wouldn't really recommend doing what I'm doing right now and handling this snake, because when your snake is in shed, you kind of just want to leave it alone. I'm just showing you guys to demonstrate what the signs are that they're going into shed. And this is a telltale sign that this boy is going to shed his skin. Like I said, just leave the snake alone, put him back in his enclosure, we'll let him chill out, and we'll let him go through that shedding process. But you really don't want to bother the snake too much, because this could be a very stressful time for the animal, and they may be a little bit more aggressive or defensive towards you because they can't really see well when their eyes are blue and cloudy like that. So it's best to leave your snake alone and let them go through the shedding process. Now guys, in about 2 or 3 days, that boy will actually clear up and he will no longer be in that blue phase. He will actually look relatively normal. However, his colors won't be as bright as they will be once he actually sheds out and has his new layer of skin from shedding. Now, what that opaque stage actually is there is actually a liquid that is developing between the new skin and the old skin, which is helping to lubricate that skin to help it make it easier for the snake to shed it off. Once the snake actually absorbs that liquid, it will then go through the next phase, which is clearing up and getting ready to shed its skin. It'll actually look pretty normal, just like this banana clown right here. She's looking awesome. And sometimes if you're not checking on your snake daily, you might actually miss the blue signs, and say you go to check on the snake and you don't notice that it's in shed because it looks relatively normal. This could actually affect the shedding process, which could cause your snake not to shed in one piece if the humidity in the cage is not correct or is too low and the environment is too dry for the snake. So it's important to always check on your snake daily, so that way you don't miss any of these signs, and that way if you do need to bump the humidity up in the cage, you have the opportunity to, and you can help your snake to shed in one piece rather than dealing with stuck shed. Okay, so I had to refilm this part, you guys, because my head was cut off in the original clip, and I'm filming by myself, so I didn't have the correct camera angle. So we'll go over this part. But the key to your snake actually having a good shed is humidity. Now, normally ball pythons will have a humidity range of about 50 to 70% in the wild. So this is what you want to replicate in captivity for them. And we'll go over a few ways that you could actually raise the humidity in your cage and keep it at that level where they will shed healthily and they will live healthily as far as the humidity level goes. Now, one key way to actually keep consistent humidity in a ball python enclosure is the source of bedding that you choose. Here at Balls of Fury, we switch it up sometimes, but in this case, we're using coconut husk or coconut fiber. Great bedding for holding humidity. If you live in an area of the world where your climate is typically drier, I would definitely suggest using coconut husk, cypress mulch, or anything like that that holds moisture really well. Now, during the winter time here at Balls of Fury, the room does dry out a little bit because we do have a space heater running, and that will dry the air out. So we do have to sometimes do a little bit of extra work when the snakes do go into shed in order to keep that humidity at the level we want it. Now, one way you can do this is by actually taking water and dumping it directly into the bedding, and you want to mix it around, get that bedding pretty moist, and this will help to raise the humidity. Another thing you could do is you could actually mist the snake and its enclosure. I already did this. As you can see, the tub is wet, but this is not something I would recommend doing all the time. I really only do this when the snakes are in shed, and I typically just lightly mist it where the bedding is wet but not soaked, because you don't want the enclosure to be wet all the time. This could lead to problems such as scale rot and fungal infections of your snake. So you definitely don't want the enclosure to be wet. And humidity is not a measurement of wetness, all right? Wetness doesn't always accumulate to humidity. You want the humidity to be about 50 to 70%, like I said. Now, another thing you could do is actually create a humidity hide box where you could take like a plastic container, fill it with some sphagnum moss, damp the sphagnum moss with water, and then wring it out a little bit. You want its consistency to be similar to like a damp or wet rag or a really wrung out rag. So that's kind of what you want for the sphagnum moss. You can cut a hole in the lid, put that hiding place into the ball python's enclosure. The ball python can actually go into this hide and soak up the humidity, and as well, it will actually raise the humidity in the cage while it's in there. So this is a great alternative to actually spraying or adding water to the enclosure. I didn't have time today to make one, so today we're just going with misting, but this girl is actually getting ready to shed out soon, and I will show you guys in the next clip that some of the skin is actually already starting to come off, so she's going to shed relatively soon. And check this girl out, you guys. She is absolutely beautiful. This is one of our female dream skull ball pythons, and I'm so excited every time she goes in the shed because that means she's growing. I am so excited for this project. And as you can see, guys, look, she's already kind of drinking some of the water off the side of the tub, which is pretty cool. But over here, where is that spot? Right in here, you can actually see the shed skin is loosening up right there. So we'll leave her alone and let her shed out, you guys. But man, what a beautiful snake. She's going to look so beautiful after she actually sheds her skin. Now, going back to what I said earlier about the importance of checking on your snakes daily, this could be another way to help you actually help your snake shed in one piece. Now, if you catch it in that opaque stage, like we talked about earlier, and you see it go into that clear stage, now you could actually start to soak your snake in a tub filled with lukewarm water. This will help to loosen that skin up, and this is also another way to avoid making the cage super wet and having issues with it drying out. Now in the cage, you guys can actually see I have drilled holes in here for ventilation. Also, the lid that goes to this enclosure has holes drilled into it, and that is so that this tank or tub does not actually stay wet all the time. Typically, when I lightly mist it like this, the tub will typically dry out within about 12 to 24 hours, so it is not wet all the time like this. We're just doing this as a demonstration and also to help this girl shed out a little bit easier. Now, I'm just going to spray it down a little bit more, and we lightly spray the snake and this enclosure like that, just to help her shed out. Mostly what you want to get is the bedding. I do spray some of the snakes. This girl tends to like it, and they will actually drink the water sometimes off the side or off their own coils. So it's a good way to keep your snake hydrated when it is in shed. But like I said, don't make this a regular habit or thing that you do for your ball python. I wouldn't recommend that. But let's get a close-up look on this girl. I'll show you guys where that skin's actually coming off, and hopefully she'll shed out tonight and be looking beautiful tomorrow. I'm actually super excited, guys. We just had a snake come out of shed last night, so I'll show you guys what that looks like, and I'm pretty excited because it's one of our most beautiful snakes in the collection. So let me show you guys this amazing girl. Okay, so this girl decided not to shed in one piece, but it doesn't look like we're dealing with any stuck shed here. Beautiful. And look at how awesome this girl looks. This is our yellow belly dreamsicle, you guys. Just an awesome, beautiful snake, man. Gorgeous, gorgeous animal. And she is looking good. Now, when your snake does shed, you guys, it's important to check them to make sure that they don't have any stuck shed, especially around the eye caps. You definitely want to remove any stuck shed, as this can cause problems for the animal down the road. Usually, too, when your snake does go into shed, they will defecate or urate in the tub. So you're going to want to wait on spot cleaning till they come out of shed. But this girl is looking absolutely amazing. We're going to clean this girl's enclosure up and get her all tidied up. And we'll feed her in the next few days. And that's pretty much it. So that pretty much wraps up shedding in this part of the care series. Shedding is something that, like I said, your snakes are going to go through their whole life. So this is important information to know, and it's important to know what to do when this happens. Also, after your snake sheds out, this is the best time to take pictures and videos of them, because this is when they're going to look their most beautiful. Definitely going to get some pictures of this girl that just came out of shed for sure. And guys, stuck shed really isn't that big of a deal. If you do have a situation where your snake is stuck in shed, one of the best things to do is let that snake soak in a tub of lukewarm water for about an hour or as needed. Typically, guys, if you let that snake soak in there long enough, the skin will come off on its own and you won't even have to subdue the snake and stress it out. But like I said, if you do have stuck shed, you do need to remove it from the snake, because you don't want that layer of skin getting caked on there shed after shed. It can lead to problems, especially the eye caps, guys. That could lead to blindness and a lot of issues for your animal. So definitely make sure that they get all the skin off. This girl doesn't have any stuck shed on her, which is awesome. So that makes life a lot easier on both the keeper and the snake. So it's important for you guys to make sure that you get any skin left on the snake off of it. And usually you can do this by soaking them in lukewarm water. I hope this helps any of you guys that are thinking about getting a ball python or having issues with your ball python shedding. If you did enjoy the video, please drop a like, please drop a comment, and please smash the subscribe button. I will talk to you guys soon. Peace.